I know there's some of y'all that aren't going to be able to get through this week if we don't do this, so... Ow! Ow! And because it's my birthday month, ow! Get them all in there. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Fun Astrology Podcast. Yeah, that's what we do on full moons around here. If you're just finding us, it's a thing. And we're building into that full moon energy all day because that thing doesn't happen until just before the stroke of midnight tonight Eastern time. So if you talk to the emergency room, the police dispatcher, the school teacher, it's going to be cray-cray today. And I'll tell you in all candor and seriousness, because we have another planet moving into Scorpio and because this is an Aries full moon, be careful. Head on a swivel, caution. Let's pick all of this apart, but before we do, let's check in to see our luck factor for the week. Hi, Kristin.
Hello, Thomas and Fun Astrology Podcast. Happy Aries full moon. This is a full week of cautionary energy, a mixed bag of positive and challenging, a yellow light, if you will. Venus and Jupiter are meeting in a sextile, but Pluto energy is strong this week, so definitely hold some caution. To find out more lucky stars days for October and to join for the first month free, go to hightimelineliving.com. Thomas and I can't wait to see you there. I hope you all have a great week.
Thank you so much. Awesome job, and such a great job with Lucky Stars. I am so excited about this program and everything we're doing, moving it over to the new website. I really, truly believe we are going to be putting resources in your hands that are going to help you analyze the month for your very best times to be doing things. All right, let's set this up. We're going to talk about the energy of really the next couple of weeks here. And as I was putting all of this together, I got down into a rabbit hole. But I'm glad I did because there has been a lot obviously going on all around us. When I say head on a swivel right now, let me tell you why. Full moons are obviously the moon and the sun are on opposite sides of the chart. They are in opposite constellations. The moon is in Aries and the sun is in Libra. It was my intention not to do a weekly video this week so that I could focus on this book, but I had to show all of this because there were so many light bulbs that went off around this. So I was thinking, is this the first Aries full moon since the Great Pyramid formed? No, it's not. Then that got me going back to looking at when did the pyramid form. The first leg of it goes all the way back to February of 2014. That's Pluto and Neptune connected with each other by a sextile. All right, that carried on, and then the next big thing, we find ourselves up to January of 2020. Now Saturn and Pluto are together because that was their conjunction in January of 2020. So they're together, connected to Neptune, right? Skip up about another year, so now we're in August of 2021. Now we have two legs. Uranus is now in play. So Neptune is connected now to Pluto on one side, Uranus on the other. What we don't have yet is Uranus and Pluto connected. That happened a year later, in August of 2022. Then various legs broke up because of the retrogrades. But I got to thinking, is this the first Aries full moon since the pyramid was together? And that's why I went back and looked at that structure. So it was loosely forming, connecting, not completely gelled, so the energy is coming and going. It's in and then it's out. But check this out. There was an Aries full moon in October of 2021. Two legs of the pyramid. The next day was the Alec Baldwin rust shooting in Santa Fe. There was another Aries full moon on September 29th, 2023. This is when the pyramid was together. It had everything. Everything was connected. Now, it broke up, so it still wasn't permanent, but it was together on September 29th, 2023. 1 week later was the Hamas attack to the music festival. Now we fast forward to 2025, and April 21st was the date that the pyramid, as we see it today, all together, and has been and will be until 2032. If that doesn't give you some chills, what's going on that the sky is trying to tell us. So this is an Aries full moon with the full pyramid together for the first time permanent. It was together back in 2023, but it broke up again because of the retrogrades. So I say, head on a swivel. And with that, I would say too, because of everything that's been happening, is send your energy out consciously. And while there is a purpose happening here and unfolding, no question, also we can send our energy out for peace. It can't hurt. Now, we have two other themes for this week. They are represented in the sky by Mercury and Venus. Tomorrow morning, 10:40 a.m., Kristin will be talking about this more. Mercury squares Pluto. We were talking about this last week. Carry it forward into this week. That is the mental strain and anguish that we're all feeling. If you remember, Mercury squared Jupiter last Wednesday. Now it squares Pluto. This is a lot of mental pressure and strain. That peaks tomorrow. Good thing is it will start to fade, but that's been strong. Mercury hitting these two planets over the past week. Wednesday was the government shutdown day. Now, the other theme for this week involves Venus. We have a very strong positive aspect on Wednesday when Venus and Jupiter are in a sextile with each other. The two great benefics, if you will, the good planets, are in a good aspect in the middle of the week. And then Venus moves into the Great Pyramid. And here was this other piece that I was kind of thinking through with this. Okay, so the Great Pyramid is the chart right now. Everything has to interact and deal with one of its legs. The pinnacle of it, the apex of it, is Saturn and Neptune together around 0 degrees of Aries. That's the whole huge thing about this. What we've been experiencing through the summer and is starting to kind of wrap up now, all the quote-unquote personal planets, the fast movers, have been moving through Libra. Mars moving through there, Charlie Kirk was shot. Mercury moving through there, government shuts down. Who's in there now? The sun. And who's headed there? The owner of the farm. Venus moves in to its home turf next Monday, week from today. So what's been happening here, and I realized, gosh, we should have been talking about this 3 months ago, well, we have been, but not just, it's like it said we were going to have to observe what's happening here. Should have gotten on this theme a little sooner. But really, the tipping point kind of was when the Charlie Kirk thing happened, and that was Mars at 22 degrees Libra. In all fairness, we were still observing. But I think what's happening are these personal planets, these faster movers, are coming through and are reconciling. They're putting this pressure on this incredibly powerful vortex, to use Cat Powell's term, adopted by Ray Merriman, passed down to here, the Aries vortex. It is a vortex, and Libra is part of that vortex. If you think about a tornado, you've got the broad shoulders up there with the pyramid, and you've got the tail down there with Libra. Now, this is going to fizzle out as soon as the Sun and Venus move through. The next to come through will be Jupiter, but that's going to be several years. Then things are going to move into Scorpio, and things got more tense with Mars in Scorpio. Congress can't agree with the president, and we end up shutting down the government. How long is this going to last? Well, it happened on the day that Mercury squared Jupiter. And now that same Mercury today at 12:40 Eastern p.m., noontime, moves into Scorpio. I had mentioned Venus. It has that sextile with Jupiter on Wednesday. Then it moves into its own turf, Libra, on Monday, a week from today, and then it will hit the pyramid, and that happens between Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week. So I'm kind of looking in, like through Ray Merriman kind of eyes. We have this Venus theme as well. The mental health area, the mental fatigue, the mental pressure and stress, that's Mercury. That peaks tomorrow. The whole Venus thing, this is money, relationships, and what's most important to us. So that peaks on Wednesday, and then we might have a pivot. That could be a change of direction in the market. It could also bring us to reevaluating what is really most important to us right now. I think that's a key takeaway, and maybe some events are created around Venus moving into that position to help us with that. I would highly suggest quiet contemplation, at least this week and next. You know, when all the aspects and all the actions slowed down week before last, we mentioned this is going to be a rest period. I think it's a wonderful time through this week and even into next week to really think about, put importance on, and express gratitude for the things that are most important in your life. And then, like I said, it's like a really good time to just stay more internal than external right now. Hope that helps. It too shall pass. And we'll move it all over into the next sign, which we'll talk about another time. Happy full moon, everybody. I hope it's safe for you. Make it safe for you. And I will see you back down toward the weekend.